Hey guys, morning. Welcome to Morning Joe with me, Jim. And I hope you have your morning Joe. It's a great morning for it, kind of overcast, kind of good day for a good cup of coffee and staying inside as long as possible. Speaking of staying inside, it's a good day to stay inside in your own home if you choose to buy versus rent. And that's what we did yesterday with a person who called and said, "Yeah, I want to buy, and here's the scenario." And I did a quick buy versus rent scenario for her, and I want to share it with you real quick because this one is a perfect example of what I love to do is show the real power of buying a home versus renting. And I can't seem to share it, so we will. There we go. Um, okay, so it's a little difficult to see, and I don't know if I can make this bigger. Huh. I'll just walk through it, and you can kind of see the big numbers, right? I said, "What's your?" We hadn't taken the loan application yet, so I don't know what this person qualifies for. I don't know the max that they qualify for. We're talking through a scenario. In other words, her question was, "Do I want to make a loan application and look for a home or not?" And I said, "Well, I don't know. Let's take a look." So she's paying $16.50 a month in rent right now, and we know that that'll go up. And she acknowledged, "I don't think that's going to stay the same. I think it's going to go up every year." Because it has every year. It started at, I don't know, 12.50 or something a few years ago, and now it's 16.50, and it'll keep on going up. So we both agree on that. Rents aren't staying the same; they're going to go up. And looking for a $350,000 house. So I ran the scenario, and remember, when I run this scenario, I always include, when you buy a home, some money every month for home maintenance, right? Just allotting a little bit to keep the home up, because when the water heater goes out, and it will, you have to replace it. And so you have to put money aside for things like that. So I've included that in here. It's not all monthly payment, but look at this. If she owned versus rent, owned for 9 years or rented for 9 years, that was my time frame because that was her time frame. Um, Look at that. It's negative $54,000 and change. In other words, renting is cheaper than buying by $54,000. And I said that because we were talking through it on the phone. I hadn't sent this to her yet. And she was like, "Oh, well, okay." But I said, "But wait, there's more," right? We've all heard that. I love to use that line. And then I said, "Well, wait, what about the appreciation? Just like rent goes up every year, your home value tends to go up every year." And I know a lot of people are saying home values are going down right now. It ain't true. It's not true. They're not. They are in some places, but not in the Southeast, especially in Charleston. They're not. They're stagnating a little bit. In other words, they're not going. When I say stagnating, they've reached an equilibrium largely between buyer and seller. That's about to change. If you watch the last video I did on Friday, I think we're about to see acceleration again, which is the argument for buying now instead of waiting until spring. That's a different topic. Well, it's a topic I did last week. So if you want to dig into that, go watch the last video I did last week. Here's the thing. If home values go up at the same sort of appreciation that they have over the last, I forget how many years, 20 years, it's about 4% per year. That means you're adding $151,000 to your net worth by owning as opposed to renting. And by the way, you're paying down the mortgage, right? Every month you pay down the mortgage a little bit when you make your mortgage payment. When you pay the rent, if you're renting, you also pay down a mortgage every month. It's just not yours. That's why I like investment properties. I like renters to pay down my mortgage every month. But you don't want to do that. So I play both sides of the fence there a little bit. But you want to pay down your mortgage every month, not the landlord's mortgage every month, right? And so over that 9 years, if no refinancing, no nothing else, no prepaying, you'd pay it down by about $43,000. So here's what it looks like. And I can't scroll down. You paid some closing costs to get into the mortgage. You have this negative cash flow compared to rent. And the rent catches up over time with the mortgage because the mortgage stays the same every month, right? Your property taxes might go up a little bit, but basically the mortgage stays the same every month, or every year rather. And rent does not. Rent goes up. So it catches up eventually. But I accounted for the negative cash flow there. And I accounted for you're going to sell in 9 years, hypothetically. And there's a cost to sell, right? You pay 6% to the agent who sells your home, the agents who collectively sell your home. Even after all that, you're $100,000 better by buying as opposed to renting. So it's a higher payment at first. So you have to be able to absorb that. And this person was and said, no, I can afford that. So if you stop renting and start buying or buy, you're over $100,000 better. Even after all the costs, even after everything, you're still $100,000 wealthier just by buying that home as opposed to renting. So I hope that helps. I thought this one was eye-opening, and I love it actually when I show something like this where the first number is like, oh yeah, that's not what I want. But then as we pull the curtain back, it becomes obvious that yeah, that's actually a really good deal. So let's go ahead and buy. And this person is. So if I can help you go ahead and buy or run these numbers and see if it makes sense, literally see if it makes sense in your scenario to buy as opposed to rent, let's do it. Reach out today and we'll do it.